welcome to the Stanley Street Social Daily Unpack of the Giro d'Italia. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. My name's Alex Clements. I'm here with Campbell Flatemore. Welcome, Campbell.
Thanks, Alex.
First stage of the Giro that I watched the whole thing.
Did you?
1 a.m. finish last night.
Well, I guess when the riders average 51k an hour for 150k, it's going to be over pretty quick.
Yeah, there was just so much. There was so much unknown. It was sucked in when there was a group off the front within the first 20k's. Like it was always going to be a long one. And when they're doing 50 odd plus clicks an hour, it was pretty easy to get to the finish, even with daylight savings.
I believe they did 55k in the first hour, which is just ridiculous.
It was wild.
Warp. It would have been a horrible day if you were a bike rider at the Giro d'Italia yesterday.
Yeah.
Just non-stop stress. As soon as it split that first time, you just knew that the whole day was going to be stressful. Everyone that was coming back didn't want to be in that position again. Always just trying to fight at the front, crashes. And after all that, we probably had the same result as if we had rolled in at 35k an hour all day.
If you looked at the finish outcome, you would have, and you didn't see any visuals of the stage, you would have thought, oh yeah, just a stock sprint day. You idiot. Wildly stressful though. So stressful. Yeah. I didn't miss being a bike rider last night. Oh my God, that looks so hard.
Yeah. And it was the usual suspects who created the early split, Quick Step, Jumbo, those Northern Euros. You just knew that when Jimmy Whelan said crosswinds and the pink jersey, young Portuguese boy, you just knew that he was going to be fine in the crosswinds riding for Quick Step.
Yeah.
You know, like we didn't know anything about him, but you just had this feeling that if there was going to be splits, he was going to be fine. And he was.
Could have been 16 and from any country in the world, and he would have been fine.
If you just follow Ilio Kaiser all day, you'll be fine.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right, young boy.
It was a clinic by them. It's so good to watch them in the crosswinds, and then compare that to Mitchell and Scott. They were kind of all over the place yesterday. Had no one in that front group in the first instance. Yates, I think he had Howson with him in that group. I mean, we don't know the full story, but they weren't organised at all.
No, they had a shocker. It just oozed Northern Europe in that front split when it went. It was no surprise. It was windy, but Quickstep had, well, there was a couple of mixed reports. One said they had all 8. Another said they had 7 out of 8. Like they were the big kids on the block last night. And it's not a surprise. It's like, well, we knew that was going to happen. It was like Alaphilippe attacking on the final climb of the world. It was textbooks in a sense. But yeah, not a good day for Mitchell and Scott. I know they came out unscathed in the end, but there would have been a lot of energy expended. Lucas Hamilton
crashes as well. I'm pretty sure Eduardo Fini won't be starting today. He had a pretty decent crash last night. Got through to the finish, but I think the injuries are a little bit too much to start today. Yeah. So that means that they're down to 6 because Brent Bookwater, he also pulled out a couple of days ago with an injury. So, I mean, what started so well, coming off the back of Torino, a good TT for Simon Yates. It's unraveling slowly for them, but they're still there. Lucas is still top 20, got through on the same time as everyone as well last night. Somehow crashed again. So I'm not sure how he is, but yeah, absolute crazy day. But you know who was in that first split? It's not going to come as a surprise. Vincenzo. He is the oldest shark, man. This guy, he's a racer. He's always there.
Yeah, just always on the money. Didn't need Quick Step 7 teammates around him. Like Vince was there, Han Solo, like he was
Yeah.
doing the job. Yeah. Quick Step, Jumbo. The other team that I guess you expect to be there, but was a little bit of surprise, was somewhere were awfully present in that front group, including the young Perth rider, Jai Hindley.
He was looking good, wasn't
Hustling
he?
so hard. He was so good. He was so good.
Jai just
Yeah.
in the crosswinds, just
Just
carving
doing
up.
chops. Oh, yeah. He was all class last night.
I know it's not a massive surprise, but a little bit of a surprise. But at the same time, Jimmy Whelan on the pod yesterday said they've been looking super organised riding as a group all week, and they carried it on last night. But yeah, I did notice that Jai Hindley was in that front split, ripping turns through.
Hmm.
So
No,
he's right up for it. He's right up for it.
yeah. But you know what I love about it? Like there was no nonsense. There was no like him trying to fit into that awkward little 2 or 3 that get a sit. There was no him missing turns. He was rolling through like a banshee. He was going wild last night. And yeah, I was all
Well,
about Jai Hindley just putting his presence in the race. Big style.
as you know, in the crosswinds, it's easy to be ripping turns through than trying to fight for wheels in the gutter. So it might be hard to pull through, but you're not punching on for position in that nice little honey pocket, just where you don't have to be rolling through. You're getting a nice sit. There's only a few people that can sit there, so it's best to just rip through. And yeah, I'm very impressed with Hindley. And who I'm also impressed with, who was good in the last 30, 40K, was Chris Harper. He was quite active on the front, I did notice. So keeping Kreuzweig to the front, however you say it, I'm never going to get it right. Yeah, hats off to Harper as well. That was nice to see him. Didn't know he was
You know
such
what
a
we
good
also you know what we also love about Harper and Hindley, that they're both booked in for a podcast appearance at some point.
Get him in.
Sometime we'll. Well, I was looking at last night's stage two nights ago, going, well, nothing's going to happen there. It's not going to be much to talk about. I think next on the block is stage 9 or 10. Stage 9, post stage 9. Chris Harper will be appearing. That's the next kid.
Okay.
But I'm pretty excited to have a yarn to Jai Hindley. There must be good energy in the group. There must be lots of just that presence that comes from Hershey winning at the tour, their tour performance in general. I think Team Somewhere, but all guns blazing at the moment.
Yeah, and Wilco's looking really good.
Wilco's looking superb.
Michael Matthews is looking really good. He's been on the podium, feels like every stage. He's been running in behind Demar, who just absolutely torched it again last night, and FDJ, they were super in that finale. Everyone was kind of waiting for them to do the lead out. It wasn't like super clean. It wasn't like a HTC lead out from 2010, but they had a lot of numbers there in the last 1,500 meters, and our boy Miles Scottson was right in the thick of it, off the back of crashing earlier in the stage, right at the front of the peloton. That looked bad. I thought that could have been a snap collarbone.
Yeah. Did you see the comment? Have you watched the backstage pass? Just a comment that came in from Isaac on YouTube. Yeah, and I think Hausen was good. Hausen was good to just be around Yates. That's where I was a little bit surprised when I saw Lucas so far back. But intel from his brother, Tom Hamilton, the founder and main host of the Continental Breakfast, he gave me a little bit of intel this afternoon saying that Lucas crashed early doors before the split. Nightmare day for Lucas Hamilton.
Yeah. And like we said off the top, it was great that everyone got through and didn't lose any time. No serious injuries for Lucas that we know of any at the moment. So he'll start today, but you just know he's the sort of guy, he'll be super pissed off after today or after last night. Like, just a crosswind day, it's probably not his bread and butter. And when we get to the mountains, he's going to be wanting to put a few of those younger boys to the sword and chase that white jersey.
Well, if you cast your eye over the general classification, that's what's so exciting about this Giro, is that there is There's so much to look forward to here, and you see guys that maybe, Lucas is at 247. You see even Yates at 352. Like, he's a long way down, but nothing's off the table. It's all on
No,
the table still.
no. You could pretty much say everyone within, the top 25 are still. If you're in 5 minutes of the lead at the moment, you're
Yeah.
still in the bike race if you want to be. Obviously, not everyone's going to be having GC ambitions, but if you are in that 5 minute bracket, like we saw last night, anything can happen in this Giro. I mean, the parkour we don't know about. There's been a bit of some whispers that there's a few things starting to build about the whole Rus in Italy. Cases are going through the roof. The director of the race kind of had to come out and put out a statement. So it's building a little bit there, but like we said in the first couple of days of this, feels like the Giro is going to get there one way or another to Milan.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we saw Paris-Roubaix called off yesterday. Northern France, cases going wild. That is not what we love.
I'm sure
at all.
ASO are just rubbing their hands together. You beauty, we got through the tour. Now let's set off a chain of events so the Giro doesn't get through to the finish.
Yeah. Question from Tom Hamilton, Lucas's older brother. Can Map sort out Flaky with a fresh lid? I'm pretty sure I gave you 2 fresh lids. Did I not?
I was just wearing this today, and I didn't get a chat. Well, I just forgot to switch to the new one. So apologies, but I do like this.
I do like that dad hat style. Yeah.
And the reason why I'm wearing a hat is because my salad is awful at the moment.
Genuine dad hat from Luke Parker. We don't mind that at all. Yeah, but as we talked about at the start, it was all this hype. It dragged me through to the early hours of the morning for no real difference than we would have seen if it was just a genuine flat, no win stage. Arnaud Demar torched the sprint again.
Oofed. He's looking so good. Imagine being in this sort of nick.
I've never been in this kind of nick. I've never experienced.
Many people have been in this kind of nick, Alex. To win 13 races this year.
Okay, not just nick, but like to have the presence to rock up to the start line the next day, going, you know what? If I get to the finish, I'm going to torch you guys. Like, I am going to rip legs off here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it must feel unbelievable. It must be easy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be so much fun. Winning's so much fun. You love riding your bike when you're torching people. And is that 3 stages now for Demar?
Yeah.
3 and 3
and
3 from 8.
But also, how many to come? Like, can you? If he gets to the finish, no one can beat him. It's not like he's just getting there. He's genuinely winning the stages.
Let's not. I mean, I might take a little bit of shine off of all this. There's not a whole lot of quality in terms of quick guys there.
There's no out and out sprinters.
There's no out and out sprinters.
Oh, Viviani is there.
But you can only beat who's there. The old cliche. But yeah, Viviani. We've talked about him. We can probably stop talking about that guy. He's probably taken up enough of our time of speculating why he's not going so good anymore.
But the interesting part about Viviani is it's not like we haven't been talking about that guy for the last 20 years, like hoping for him to break through, get that victory. We were talking about him last year as the hottest thing on the block.
Yeah.
Another part that's been touched on here by Luke Parker and Tom McFarlane is Miles Scottson. He looks like he's doing some good work in the groove of Arnaud Demar's lead-out train in the FDJ colours.
Yep, he's looking really good. Just feels like he's a part of it. And when you're getting results and you're a part of it, you feel like, like this is where I belong. I can be a part of a pro tour lead-out in the Grand Tours. So he's going to take a lot of confidence out of this, and hopefully within the team, it's being recognised as well. I'm sure it is. I'm sure Demars, knowing that without these lead-outs, he's probably not going to be winning as easily. So it's good to see. It's good to see Miles really be in the thick of a Grand Tour like he is this one.
Yeah, hopefully we get to hear it from Miles on the rest day.
Yeah.
Hopefully he joins us on the podcast. Yeah. The G-Man Adam on Facebook yet again. Like his point, he just looks cool, calm, collected, and as Adam says, hardly out of breath on the after he wins yet again. Arnaud Démare cleaning up at this year's Giro.
Was there in that sprint? Was there a little bit of foul play? Kind of squeezed Sagan a little bit. No, I'm just trying to come up with something to kind of add because he just torched it by so much. But did he squeeze Sagan a little bit? Sagan had a little bit of a hands up. There was no real shaking of the hands after crossing the line. He seemed a little bit pissed off, but I just don't think he really had the legs. I think Démare was too good.
Yeah, I think Sagan would have done exactly the same thing.
Has done and will do.
And will do more and more again. I think that's not too much in that for mine.
What I would like to know is, in, let's say, the last 30 years, what's the most stages a rider has won at a Grand Tour?
Might get the Two-Man onto that.
Would it be Cavendish with like his 5? Did he win 6 one year in those HTC days?
Yeah.
I'm sure Eddie Merckx won like 15 back in the 70s or whenever it was, or someone in the 30s. I'm talking the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Hey, how many beers have you had? How many beers has Luke Parker had at the park?
No, he's just making good comments from what I can see. Yeah, says on Facebook, come on, Campbell, give me a spell. Let's line up with 200 meters to go and have a straight sprint then. But as Tom McFarlane says on the YouTube, I think like Sagan complained at the finish, as we said, a bit rich from him. Yeah. He's the chop king when it comes to the crunch, which they all are. I don't think anyone isn't.
Yeah,
I think you're not there if you're not the chop king. Like everyone's willing to do it all to get that victory.
If you're a sprinter at this level, you've chopped people up and you've been chopped. You just know it's part of the JD. So obviously we don't want any more incidents a la Jakobsen from Poland, I think it was, but it's all part of it. Like Caleb said, he if you're not ready to box on, it's not for you. Yeah.
How's that audio? I just lost my.
Yep, I've got you fine. Yep.
A little bit of comedy too from Isaac on YouTube. Viviani picked up a third in the intermediate sprint last night. What would you be? I know you don't want to talk about this anymore, but I want to talk about it more. Okay. Imagine being at Cofidis. Like, what does that mean for you as the DS? You've signed this hot shot sprinter. They talk about it all the time. They haven't won a Grand Tour stage in 96 years. Like, are you having words to Elia? Like, come on, bro. Like, let's get to work here. What are we doing?
He'd be getting paid a monster as well, wouldn't he? There's a lot like
so much money.
There'd be like 50% of the salary cap going to this bloke. He's yet to get a win this year. This season, he's got 0 wins. So pressure's building for him. But I mean, we thought maybe the Tour de France was just a little bit of preparation, get a little bit of racing in the legs for the Giro, his home tour. But he hasn't been near it. He hasn't been near it. Now we're talking about his 3rd place in an intermediate, which I think they just rolled through. So,
yeah.
I mean, given what we've seen so far, I don't think we can expect anything from him going forward in this Giro.
Yeah. As Adam points out, I reckon, I don't know who Viviani's managed by, but he'd be pretty happy with his clip on the last contract negotiation. And then I don't know what.
Well, we signed for another year, so I imagine If he keeps this up, he's going to be taking a big pay cut for his next contract. Whatever that is.
Yeah. As Isaac mentions on YouTube, they are a credit financial company. So they might be using the debt collectors to get some of that coin back.
Yep.
Anything else on last night? We saw a big crash at 45 clicks to go. It's caused by barriers, yes.
Oh, yeah. What was? But what?
But for mine, like, I don't know if you can throw that one at the barriers. I don't think they expected full 14 rider wide bunches to be running through the 45k to go sign.
Probably not, but surely we can have barriers that don't have to come in onto the road.
I don't know. I've never set up a barrier in my life.
Either
It was
just
awful.
organising a bike race of this magnitude is just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get things wrong. You're gonna get things wrong along the way. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah. And well, I don't know. It'd be maybe it's something to look at on the podcast in the near future, is getting someone that's actually been in the guts of managing a bike race, managing all these kind of bits and pieces that's going on, working with the UCI, working with their priorities. Like, is it actually a joke, or is it just that hard to make 100% safe? Or
I think it's I think it's mostly the latter. There's just so much that goes into making a bike race that sadly things are going to go wrong.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to touch on, Campbell?
Well, I hope for us that we get some more crosswind days, but I'm sure the riders hope that there's nothing like that again for the rest of the tour, because that would have been an absolute horrible day to be a part of. So
yeah,
we can tick that off.
Yeah,
Abby, get
Scotty Sunderland.
Have you had Scott Sunderland on before?
Yeah, we have. He came on the Cadell Evans Great Ocean Road Race Unpack. We didn't touch on barriers though, and logistics. We need someone in the guts. Tomorrow?
Tonight?
However you want to look at it.
Probably tonight.
Probably more tonight than anything.
200 Ks. Let's not forget. This is the Giro.
You wouldn't expect any less.
Pretty stock standard. It's flat as a pancake for the first 90k. Then we have actually flat, like
no hills, no lumps.
I think 17 meters is as high as we get. Then we arrive at a Cat 2, 9-kilometer climb, 6% gradient, and then it's quite bumpy through to the finish. And we do go through the finish line, and we cut a little bit of a local lap around, which the Giro have done previously. We don't see it too often, I don't think, in the Tour de France. It's a little bit of a Giro thing, so the riders will get a little bit of a look at the finish line. But how do you see this one going, Alex? Do you think FDJ, now knowing that how good Demar is, probably going to want to look to keep this one together for another bunch kick?
You take this on. There must be oozing confidence. Everything's happening right for them. Arnaud Demar for the win. Arnaud Demar to win 6 stages.
I haven't had a good look at what is coming up, but it wouldn't be a surprise if he comes away with 6. But is there a possibility for something to perhaps go on the Cat 2, a little break getaway and
normally you would also put into the consideration set Bora to go wild on the climb and ride to the finish, but I don't think they can do that again. I just don't think Sagan can rally the troops unless he oozes that much confidence. And the DS is that committed. I can't see Bora throwing it down for Peter. I think it
Yeah.
needs to be. I think almost for Peter's sake, he needs a race where they're not riding for him, where he's just working in the wheels. And Alan Knight just makes a good point on Facebook. This could be a good one for Matthews if it is grippy. If they do want to go, give it a bit of a squirt over this Cat 2, Cat 4, lumpy run into the finish. Could this be Bling's time? Because it's shown that it needs to be really hard.
Yeah, I can't see it being hard enough to make it Michael Matthews. And if it's that hard, then probably Diego Ulisi's going to be there too, who torched him earlier in the tour. So it feels like it's going to be a Demar sort of day. And if Bora do choose to go full gas on the Cat 2, you think Michael Matthews is going to be there too. So they're probably not going to want to push on with Matthews there. So
Yeah.
from what we can tell, it's probably going to be another day for Demar with the confidence just going through the roof.
Yeah. Yep. You can't argue that. You can't argue that. Anything else?
I don't think so. I'm just having a look at some of these comments.
The only other piece I've got James Cummings on Facebook, a little bit of housekeeping. Apparently, Tom Hamilton's going to appear in the daily unpacks later on in the peaks. He's going to give us a bit of intel as the brother of Lucas Hamilton in the third week. And then if we can join or be present in the same room under the current Victorian restrictions, the continental breakfast may be returning post Giro. Breaking news.
Look forward to it.
That's all from me.
All from me too. I look forward to tonight.
Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all the comments. Thanks for your time, Campbell. And
Thanks,
we'll see you back here at 5:30 tomorrow.
Yep.